And all this time, he's at the point of death, and he's watching people gamble over his clothes. Then, oh my God, he looks down with utter disgust. And he uses that word that I know most of you know by now. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do.
Yes.
You know, that's got to be like Jesus. When someone is doing you wrong, you're still asking God to forgive them.
Yeah.
Next he said to the thief, today you shall be with me in paradise.
Yes.
See, the thief told him, he said, look, if you be the Son of God, please, and some of y'all heard that song, save a seat for me.
Yeah.
And he said, today you shall be with me in paradise. Look at Jesus. Even in pain, he's still trying to get somebody saved. Even in agony, he's still trying to tell somebody that God is the way. Then looking down at the terrified, grief-stricken adolescent John, the beloved apostle, Jesus said unto him, behold my mom. Let me tell you something. Even when Jesus was going through, he wanted to make sure his mama was all right. Can I get a witness in here? He said, John, I need you to, I know I'm getting ready to die, but I need you to look after my mom. Can I get a witness in here? He said, behold thy mother. And he told his mama, behold thy son. Oh yeah, the fourth utterance is Jesus Christ from the beginning of the 22nd Psalm. My God,
Yes.
why hast thou forsaken me? Jesus endured hours of limitless torture, cycle of twisting and joint-wrenching cramps, intermittent partial asphyxiation, and searing pain as tissue was torn from his lacerated back when he moved up and down against the rough, rugged cross.
Yes.
Then another agony began, crushing pain deep within his wrist, as his pericardium slowly filled with serum and compressed his heart. Let me tell you something. Even though we talk about the cross didn't kill him. And for some of you going through today, what you're going through now, I want to tell you, God told me to tell you that it won't kill you. Now, let us remember again Psalm 22, as he says, I am poured out like water, and all my bones are out of joint. With my heart is like wax, it is melted in the midst of my mouth. Jesus' agony was almost over. The loss of tissue, fluids reached a critical level. His compressed heart was struggling now to pump. It was struggling to pump heavy, thick, sluggish blood into his tissues. And his tortured lungs made a frantic effort to fight for a small gust of air. His markedly dehydrated tissues sent their flood of stimuli to his brain. And Jesus grasped again for that cry, I thirst. A sponge soaked in Posca, which is a cheap sour wine, or could be compared to vinegar. They decided to soak this sponge and put it on his wounds, burning every single solitary wound on his body. Anybody ever cut yourself and been foolish enough to just put alcohol on? That doesn't even compare to the burning, excruciating pain that Jesus went through. So now, Jesus apparently couldn't move his lips as he needed to. Didn't take the liquid. The blood of Jesus is now in extremis, as he could feel the chill of death creeping through his tissues. The revitalization brought out his sixth cry, which is, it is finished. Jesus' atonement had finally been completed. But just to add insult to injury, because the Bible tells us that they did not do the customary Roman death by breaking his legs, because they assumed that he was dead already. So the Roman soldier decided he would take a spear. And this particular spear was wasn't a straight sword. It had an angle to it, as it would in a U formation. So as he stuck him in his side, the point of the spear did a upper motion where it hit what we call the sac in which his heart was located. So it hit his cardiovascular sac, which is to say that that's why the Bible doesn't say blood ran out like water. It said blood and water, because your cardiovascular sac is filled with water. So as he punctured that sac, blood and water rushed out, and he apparently had a heart attack. So now he makes sure, it said, since we didn't break his legs, let's make sure he's dead. And so Jesus apparently died not from the cross, but from an apparent heart attack. So now it is written that immediately came out blood and water. Thus we have seen a glimpse of the evil that Jesus had to go through. This is not a pretty sight. It is apt to leave us despondent and depressed if this story ended right here. But I come to let you know, I was taught that you never leave anybody without hope. Don't leave anybody depressed or despondent. And truly, this story would be completely awful and depressing. It would be one of the worst horror stories you ever could vision if it stopped right there. However, I'm grateful that we have a sequel. I'm grateful that, oh my God, we're able to say that the story didn't end right there. Come to let you know that after they pulled him out from a sleepless night. Y'all go ahead and preach this thing today. After he goes through hemorrhagisis at Gethsemane. After they marched him over 5 miles from Judgment Hall to Judgment Hall. A total of 3 different courts. He's now hungry and sleepless and thirsty. And after they whipped him all night long. I wish I had at least one Baptist deacon today. After he was a bloody mass of protoplasm, then they crowned him with thorns and mocked him with a wooden scepter and a purple robe. He was weak now and in shock. He was dehydrated and bloody and had shields on the march to Calvary. And with a 75-pound cross on his back. And they had the unmitigated gall to mock him. But I've come to let you know, devil, you are a fool to mess with Jesus. Oh yeah, devil, you're a fool to mess with Jesus. Oh my God. You don't know who you're messing with. Tell somebody you don't know who you're messing with. So you should investigate before you try to kill somebody. They had to put a 5-inch spike between the radius and carpal bones. They cut his median nerve to make his hand like a claw. Then they cut him between the intermental tarsal space of his foot and the cut of the peroneal nerve. His wounds were now open on his back, rubbing against the old rugged cross. There was pain everywhere. There was dehydration, asphyxiation everywhere. He went into hypothalamic shock. Devil, you better keep him alive, because if he does, he's going to tear your kingdom back. Do I have anybody here that know that what you're going through now is not going to kill you? You ought to look at your neighbor and say, neighbor, there's power in your pain. Devil, you better keep him alive. That's why it said that if thou be the Christ, come down and save yourself. But he stayed there. Anybody know he stayed there? The old song said he would not come down from the cross, not even to save himself. But he decided to die just to save you and me. So after they spat on him, and after they hit him in the face with their hands, sticks and other objects, after they hung him to a tree, he hung his head in the locks of his shoulders.